Okay, guys, another new skill coming your way. This skill is called resizing or scaling a fraction. Your I can statement talks about how you should be able to, by the end of this lesson, be able to look at what we're multiplying here and decide if the product that you get is going to be larger or smaller than the whole number that you're multiplying. So meaning, is this whole number going to increase based on the fraction you're multiplying it by, or is this whole number going to decrease based on the fraction you're multiplying it by? So you're going to do some investigating today to answer those questions on your own. The question is, what effect do fractions have on the whole number? So looking at this fraction, 1/3, 2 times 1/3, we're going to solve to get an answer so we can start thinking about what's happening. So I found out yesterday while talking to some people that they were not quite sure how to represent a whole number as a fraction to be able to multiply. So to answer that question, whole numbers just go over the number 1. So this says exactly the same thing when it's over the number 1. So this would be like saying 2 divided by 1. Anytime we divide or multiply by 1, it equals itself. That's properties of multiplication. So 2 divided by 1 would still be 2 wholes. So it looks exactly the same, it has the same value, just now it looks like how we're used to multiplying fractions. So now I can go ahead and multiply straight across the numerators. So 2 times 1 is 2. And straight across the denominators, 1 times 3 is 3. So the product of 2 times 1/3 is 2/3. I'm going to let you solve the next two problems on your Wiser worksheet and think about what effect fractions had on this whole number. Circle it here so you remember what we're comparing. So what effect did that have? Okay, let's go to the next section and take a look at those problems. So it looks a lot like the last problem, but there is a difference here. Now we're going to solve the same way, but we're going to think about what effects do improper fractions have on whole numbers. So it's going to be important to know what an improper fraction is. So when we see this larger numerator over a smaller denominator, what is that telling us? Okay, so we're going to solve the same way that we did in the last section. So our whole number always goes over the number 1 because that still shows the same exact value. So 2 over 1 would be 2 whole, 3 over 1 would still be 3 whole, 4 over 1 would still be 4 whole. You get the idea. Okay, so we're going to multiply straight across the numerator. So 2 times 4 is 8. And straight across the denominator, 1 times 3 is 3. So I ended up with another improper fraction. Well, I'm curious, my brain wants to know what is the value of this improper fraction. So we know fractions are division. So I can say 8 divided by 3. I'm going to write over here on this guy. 8 divided by 3. I can make 2 groups of 3 that would have the value of 6. And then I would have, sorry, I'm writing right over this example here. I would have 2 pieces left over. So that becomes my numerator. And my denominator stays the same. So 8/3 is the same as 2 and 2/3. I'm going to actually erase 8/3 altogether because I want to see this as a whole number product. Let me write this again. So it has the value of 2 and 2/3. So now we're going to compare these numbers. So what effect did multiplying an improper fraction have on the whole number? And that's up to you to investigate. So what happened? You may need to go look in the other section and compare the two sections of just a fraction and then improper fractions. For the last section, this is where you're going to show that investigative work. You're going to look at several fractions. I think there's 7 total. Your job is going to be to look at these based on what you did in the other 2 sections and decide if this whole number here is going to increase or decrease based on the fraction you're multiplying it by. So based on it being a fraction or an improper fraction. Then once you decide, you're going to come into this box. It's going to have to be spelled correctly to be marked correct, just because the text it makes you be very accurate. So use this as a key to help you with spelling if you need to. Remember, increase means go up, something going up, and decrease means something going down. So look at these fractions, decide if this whole number is going to increase, go up, or decrease, go down, and then type your answer here. The last section, you get to do a word search. That's for fun, to help with for remembering our vocabulary. And there are 2 word problems tucked in here somewhere that shouldn't be too challenging to solve. So good luck. See you in live today.